This wasn't your standard Canadian election. It was completely crazy. One moment we were riding high, the next we were down in the dumps at the edge of our seat. But after it was all said and done, we destroyed the Conservatives, getting 3 seats short of an outright majority. In fact, there's even still a small chance that we get a majority if like a couple floor crossers come on in. From the outside looking in, the Liberals are looking high and mighty. But there are some major cracks under the surface that I believe, if they continue to go unaddressed, will make this government last a lot less than 4 years. The biggest one is that all the problems that the Conservatives ran their campaign on are actually still there. That means that the people don't feel good, and their needs have to be addressed before anything else. The Trump issue in Canadians' minds is dying, and you have to look where the puck is going, not just where it is. Except for one part, this issue is dwindling in people's eyes tremendously. The one thing that is still on people's minds is tariffs. Mark Carney has to make sure that there's a huge win on Canada's southern front, and also recognize that it has 13 other fronts. Free trade federally by Canada Day is an absolute must. In fact, this is the most important thing right now that should be talked about. This will give one thing for Canadians to actually celebrate about. Mark Carney won't even be sworn in as Prime Minister till late May, meaning he has about 1 month to scrap every single federal regulation on the books, or he won't meet his deadline. And this one thing alone will have massive impacts for the Canadian economy that will become seeable instantly. And after federal tariffs comes provincial tariffs. The best strategy moving forward on this issue is and always will be to divide and conquer. I can only think of 2 provinces who want to become less integrated with Canada, and if that's the case, good, we don't need them right now. Oh, my cat's whining. Create a pact that individual provinces can sign onto that increases... Hi. Hi. Create a pact that individual province... Say hi to the camera. Say something. Say something. I don't know actually how to make this work, but just make it possible for each premier who is doing this to make like a big show and dance of it, signing it into law and stuff like that. If you allow each premier to take the popularity win and be the smiling face that signs free trade provincially into law, eventually Danielle Smith will look like the odd one out and will eventually be forced to sign it, especially if it's actually done well. But this, far and away, beyond anything else, is the most important issue in the long run. The Liberal government plans on spending more money now than ever before, and I'm not inherently opposed to that. But if we spend all that money just to get bogged down in bureaucracy and red tape and get nothing done from it, we will actually put Canada in a worse fiscal space, which we don't want to do. But after tariffs, Mark Carney has to get the hardest pills to swallow down first. Every party right now is really willing to make plays with the Liberals, and any party that decides to hold up Parliament, or worse, potentially call an election, will pay the ultimate price for that at the ballot box. So now is the time to get the hardest pills to swallow rammed through Parliament. Something that has to be done, but might not be popular with the other parties, if you know what I'm saying. But besides, it's mainly just legislative strategy. In my opinion, the biggest structural crack that the Liberal Party has to address right now is the youth vote. You've all seen by now that the school vote came out. Every election, Canadian schools can vote for parties. When the 2 elections happened, when I was in school, I voted for the PPC and the Conservatives. And then when I was still in school, but actually just got to vote in a by-election, I voted for the NDP. So anyway, it's really cool. I'm really glad that my country does this. And I think it's good for democracy. And the Conservatives crushed the Liberals. They almost won a flat-out majority government. They did worse than the Liberals did in real life, but still. Student votes are special because you're almost forced to do it, and it gives an unfiltered look at the views of young Canadians. Most 9th graders aren't worried about splitting the vote, and when that happens, this is the result. Woke deep state, please save us. Oh, liberal run schools, please save. In the school vote, the Conservatives beat us by 5 points. Funny enough, almost the exact same margin. Pierre lost his own fucking seat. And I mean, they still only got about 18 more seats than us, but what is this? Mark Carney has to take this victory. He's been given off the backs of boomers and older generations, and parlay that into some success in the Gen Z vote. I've read the Liberal platforms and the Conservative platform. The Liberal Party is actually doing more to help young people, but they really need to capitalize on that. I seriously mean that specifically. They need to vocalize this better. Via Rail is amazing, except when it isn't, which is most of the time, but that's besides the point. Introduce a Canada Strong Pass for 3 months this summer. My dad would always tell stories of how I went to British Columbia by train and how amazing and relaxing it is. No driving, no worrying. You can just stare out the window or go make friends. Ever since then, I've constantly wanted to go on a passenger train, but never have, because it is quite expensive. But this is an amazing opportunity. Free trips for anyone under 18 and heavy discounts for 18 to 24 is something that will boost the Canadian economy tremendously. Right now, the only group of people who aren't feeling this wave of patriotism is young people. Things like this will absolutely do that for us. I'm serious right now. If you want some ideas on what to do for summer, download the Liberal plan, Control F for the word young, and just read through and get some really cool ideas for what you and your friends can do. I don't think that trains will make young people like the Canadian government. It will make autistic people love the Canadian government, but that's not it. It still needs to focus on housing. But with this, Liberals and young Canadians really have to promote this to give people the opportunity to experience this opportunity. I mean, Christ almighty, free Via Rail, and you can go see any cool thing in this country. That will make you pretty patriotic. You see some beautiful BC mountain, fall next to like some guy on fentanyl. God bless this country. But that thing I touched on earlier is homes. They need to get more homes done. And with the trains, I think they have to promote this more, that they're doing this. But with housing, I don't think they should even talk about it. The best solution to needing to build homes is just building homes. People will see with their own eyes if houses are being built. People will see for their own eyes if housing prices decrease. Just getting homes built is the most important thing, and the benefits will follow from that. But everything I've said so far is secondary to this. I'm going to touch back on this again. Anything I've said doesn't matter at all compared to this. You need to get rid of red tape. I know the meme is that like politicians will just like, oh, I'm going to cut all the red tape. All the red tape, it's everywhere. I'm going to cut all the red. But I'm serious. Mark Carney will be spending more than any other leader, and that's fine. But what needs to happen is you actually have to take that money and build. Nothing can slow the building down. We have to get this started and done. If we mess this up and spend all this money just to have it go to project reviewers and managers, then Canada will not be doing well in 10 years. This has to be done. Cutting regulation, vitally important. Getting rid of tariffs, vitally important. Unfortunately, all the necessary things the Canadian government has to do right now are the structural things that are piled on within pages and pages of paper that aren't sexy, but have to be done. Oh man, I'm well lit and I'm sweaty. Good Lord, I'm sweating. That was the video. I streamed on election day on Monday and we had a hell of a time. It was very fun. I made a lot of money. I made more money than I have ever doing anything else on my computer ever. So I'm gonna keep streaming. But if you want to check out my stream, it'll be every Monday from now on. I think it's a good starting schedule for streaming. We will either be reacting to Americans' coverage of Canadian politics or reacting to conservatives coping about the election. Those are the two ideas. It's either a tier list or just like watching conservatives die inside. Please consider becoming a member. Seriously, I'm being very serious. This is like, it's like the best way to support me right now. I don't get ad revenue. Please get a membership. They're really cheap and I will
God.